choice then, because you'll sit back on it and pull back from it. And I feel the need to relax with that and allow yourself to go further and go more easily with it and not feel like you have to sit back and debate as much.
Okay.
And you've also been going through a transition. Would you recognize people around you, you care about them, and there's a bond there, but you recently have reached a point where you've stepped back enough and felt like, I can't listen to everyone else's opinions?
Yes.
Because I keep seeing input coming in, and I want to say not that they're not sincere and not that they're not helpful, but I don't feel those answers are at times something you can think through all on your own at once. And I'm seeing you having some people around you that they think they know best for you. True?
Yep.
Well, God bless them, but let's take time in a meditative, prayerful manner, center yourself, and bring yourself to that point of calmness that Spirit's speaking to you in a very direct, personal manner, and not a circumstance where it's a hearsay from everybody else. You have some very good people around you that really care, and I feel an energy there that there's some positive influences. You're filtering them out, though, and realizing there's ones there that they have their opinion, and then you have people that you really feel in the heart center, they're coming from what they really feel. And you can recognize that. You'll recognize the difference in that as you calm down more. Okay?
Yep.
Good. God bless you there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else have a question? You'd like to raise your hand.
Richard was first.
Hello.
Yes, okay. Just wondering what my potential is for mediumship. I mean, I don't expect to be have super ability, but what I can do to help develop, at least I can listen a little bit better when I'm, to get messages or
Well,
guides.
it's interesting that you're stating on the idea of listening, because as a symbol I felt with you was you're hearing and you're feeling within you, and I'm not talking to conscious mind, I'm talking spiritually, you're feeling it. But there's times your conscious mind is jumping in and debating, does it mean this, does it mean that, does it mean something else? And I feel that as you're coming to a point of recognition of what am I really feeling, meaning spiritually, and what am I feeling or thinking in a conscious basis? And I feel like you're starting to build a guideline between. It's like the yellow lines on the highway. We need to go with what we're really feeling and keep the clarity and not allow the consciousness to be disruptive. And that's what I feel you're learning to do first, is have that clarity. There are moments you have things come through that are very strong and very direct, and it's something that you don't even question. And then you have other times where you actually end up in a conscious debate over it. That makes sense?
Yes.
And I feel on a meditative level, the calmer you become, the more Spirit's going to be able to work with you and help you, and you're going to have more of an experience of knowing and not have to feel like, well, I thought it or I felt it, but now what do I do with it? I see you having it come through in a stronger level yet, and that's going to really work for you. And also, sometimes you dream things that come true.
So sometimes I dream things? Is that what you're saying?
Sometimes you dream things that come true.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Dreaming, sometimes it's symbolic, and I have to be careful what I interpret when I'm dreaming, but
yes,
it's rarely purely, factual. So.
Okay. Well, that's why I was bringing it up, because I feel with you that even in a dream state, your consciousness is affecting it, and I feel the energy there to set the intent that may I have the clarity of Spirit working with me and through me in the most pure manner, that when I awake in the morning, I have my conscious mind, and it enters my conscious mind. I remember my dreams in my conscious mind. Not only remembering the dream, but what did the dream mean? It's like I want to set that let's say guideline out there and say, if I'm in a dream, I want to wake up in the morning in a conscious mind, not only remembering the dream, but remembering the message in the dream. And as you do that, and you start setting that intent as you go to bed at night, you're going to start having the memory in the morning where the dreams will come to you, because you have dreams all the time. It's just we don't always remember them. And once you do that, you're going to start remembering them, and they'll start coming through in clarity for you. And there will be dreams that'll be a very depictive message to help you and guide you in your life. Also, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I see healing around you. And I feel that I would practice healing, absent healing, as well as laying on of hands healing would be very, very helpful to you. I feel like you have an ability that if you were to sit and concentrate with someone, and even if they physically weren't in front of you, but write their name down, concentrate on their face if you know them, and just picture the energy flow and the perfectness of them and being in perfect health, you'll see a change in them that you're going to be sending a lot of energy, and it'll be very helpful.
Okay.
All right?
You.
You
Yeah.
have more ability than what you're giving yourself credit for the simple reason that you don't have the confidence yet in it.
Okay. This
And
is the healing. This is the healing you're speaking about.
the healing and the mediumship.
And the mediumship.
I look at healing and I look at mediumship. When I'm working with someone in a reading, I know at times that a lot of the energy comes through in a very healing manner. I've had people leave the room and say, well, my knee doesn't hurt now. My back doesn't hurt now. I no longer have the headache. I had one lady that was very, very ill, and she came in the room and she went back to the hospital after the reading, and she went back to the hospital and she said to me, she said, Greg, she goes, they can't figure out what happened on the tests. They can't figure out why all of a sudden some things that she had wrong before weren't showing up. And I know Spirit takes care of things. And it's not saying, get into reading and get into healing from me directly, but I know God took care of it. And I feel an energy there that you have a lot of ability with both mediumship and healing if you allow yourself to relax. Remember, once we break through the threshold of trust, it then comes so clearly, and you're not quite at the point where you felt like you're trusting it completely. And I feel you will.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you. Anyone else?
Jean.
Jean?
Yeah.
How are you?
Jean?
Thank you for doing this. This is great. I've never really been in one of these circles before.
Yes.
So, as Richard is seeking, I am also trying to get my messages clearly. I've got a lot going on right now.
Yes.
And I have a little trouble overriding things and just being calm enough to receive it and to try to develop that receiving part of it.
I think you're absolutely right, because I felt energy around you of a great deal of drama and traumas around you that are not directly yours, but they're very much around you. And I'm seeing you in this healing energy of wanting to help and guide others and help them in their decisions and circumstances they're in. And it becomes very frustrating to feel like, I want to share it with them, but yet they're not listening. And I'm going to say it this way: the calmer you become, the more they're going to listen. And the calmer you become, the more calm they're going to become. And I feel just like yourself, the calmer you're becoming, the more clarity you're going to have. You have a lady around you on the spirit side of life that's a wonderful guide. I see her as a woman that goes back, I would say, as either a grandmother or an aunt, and an older lady, very, very strong, very determined, very direct. I see her with you and helpful to you. And would you recognize recently, where am I investing time, energy, love, and emotion is a big part of your life at the moment, because you have quite a few people around you experiencing their traumas.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm having my own issues too.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm trying to not dwell on that and, some health things and just.
Well, I was going to say to you, dear, you have some things there that really bring on a little bit of fearfulness at times as to what's next.
Right.
And I say, I don't feel negative about you, and I don't feel negative about health. I feel what's wrong there, you're going to be able to really get a good handle on. Not a doctor, can't prescribe, but the energy I feel around you, there was a fear of something going on in the blood, and there was sort of an out of balanceness in the blood they were talking about.
Well, it was the heart, actually.
Because I feel something to do with the blood flow and the blood pressures. I feel like something's been going on where it's not been what should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you getting back on track with that and not having that bother you so deeply. I feel part of it is actually a physical condition. Part of it is an emotional enhancement of the physical condition. And I see you getting straightened around here. I'm going to put it very simply and say, you not only have a future, dear, I'm seeing you here a long time. And I see an energy around that I know there's been a part of you actually had that fear of like the ultimate of what could possibly happen.
Right.
I see the ultimate of you doing better. And I see you getting back on track and certainly being in a more positive energy for yourself. Also, would you recognize you had a couple dizzy or lightheaded spells?
Actually, it was more AFib.
Because I got this really strange sensation in my body, and I just feel like a little scary. But I see you getting back on track, and I feel an energy here that I don't know if they've done this already or this is coming up. But I see them checking out something about alignment of the heart rate or heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I feel like that's coming into play. Now, I don't know if this is some sort of electrical thing or what, but they're symbolizing you having something done yet that'll line that up, it'll function well, and you're going to feel better. Because I feel you sometimes can get exhausted because your body got out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you getting your energy back and not having that exhaustion. I think that's going to be a lot better for you.
Good. Yep, I do want to get those messages.
I'm sorry?
I do want to get those messages coming in. I have to get everything else settled down, I guess, first.
Well, let me say it this way. You have a few people around you that are unique in the sense that you end up involved in their emotions. And I'm seeing you starting to step back a little bit and say, I can't help anybody if I'm in a hospital bed. I got to take care of me.
Right.
And I feel that as you're starting to think that more and more now.
Right.
And it's actually going to work fine.
Oh, good.
You were having, for a short period of time, a numbness or tingling on the left-hand side of the body.
Yeah, I think I actually was on the right, my right.
Well, I'm looking straight at you,
Right.
and I would say left in my view of you is the left.
Right.
And I feel like hand up the forearm, but then it didn't go up to the shoulder.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I feel that in my body, and I feel like you've been having that happen. I do see it leveling out. I see nothing long-term or long-lasting. I just see you going in and getting checked out, and you'll be fine.
Oh, good.
All right?
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
God bless you, dear. You take care.
Thanks, you too.
Anyone else? Raise your hand.
Want to ask Nancy if she does. She doesn't. She just has audio.
Hi, Nancy.
Oops.
Nancy?
Hang on. It's not unmuting.
Hello.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. We have audio, but we don't have visuals, so I was going to ask if you had a question.
How do you interpret who's coming through?
How do I interpret who's coming through? Well, number one, usually they come through pretty clearly for me, and they'll describe the station of life they had had, be it a grandmother or mother or father, whatever in that manner. Or at times when I have guides come through that are giving information for the person I'm speaking to, they may not give me a name because I have guides I've never known a name, but I know their presence and I recognize them. And it's something that when we have people come through in a reading, usually they'll come through at a station in life as to what part of life are they involved in.
Okay.
Any
Thank you.
question there?
I'm having trouble with my sister as far as her health.
I feel three things around your sister, dear. I'm not a doctor and I cannot prescribe, but I feel she's had a fear of cancer.
Yeah, she's had cancer.
Would you understand 3 times?
Yes.
Because I see 3 times around her with cancer, and I feel she's now at a point where in one level, she's cleared up the one aspect that she had a problem with. On another level, she's now regrouping on the idea of getting her health back in order. Also, would you recognize a chest problem also coming into this?
You never know.
I feel a heaviness in my chest, and I feel emotionally heaviness, but yet I feel a physical condition somehow is bothering her. And I see her being able to pull it together and get back on track. And would you recognize she can be a bit negative in some of her attitudes?
Yes.
Because I feel sometimes you get frustrated, you just want to shake her. And it's like, I want to say it very simply. God bless her. You're loving her where you can, when you can, and how you can, but you can't fix her. I do feel planting the seeds of wisdom, guidance, and love is something you're doing, you've been doing, and it's a very positive thing. And I see you learning to step back emotionally and not take on all the energy that you were taking on for a while. I feel you at times could be like a sponge, and you would feel and sense everything going on inside of her, and you would feel like you're feeling what she's feeling. And I want to say, I know that you love her and you want to help, but that's getting too close. You have to step back to have the clarity and the ability to help. You have to step back enough to not allow it to overwhelm you, because at times you feel overwhelmed.
Yes. Very much so. Thank you.
I see her plugging into you like jumper cables, and she pulls a lot of things from you, and you sometimes leave her presence and being exhausted.
That's so true.
You know, you're needing to put yourself in a bubble, and when you're around her, yes, we love her. We plant seeds of wisdom, guidance, and love. We send healing, but it's God's energy and healing, not your energy and healing, because we got a little battery there compared to God's. God's is endless, and we're needing to plug it in as a healing aspect of helping others through God's presence and the healing, and not a circumstance of you becoming drained.
Okay.
When we're using God's energy, dear, it's endless.
So true.
When we use ours, we can get in trouble. Okay.
All right.
Any other question?
No.
All right, Ann. You take care. God bless.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to raise their hand? And I would gladly give you something here. Thank you.
Do you want to do any more? Or do you want to do readings? What do you want to do?
I'd like to share something in my belief system that I think might help each person there that's with us. You know, as a child, I was raised in a spiritualist family, and I enjoyed working with my grandmother and my mother. And we worked with mediumship all the time, 4 generations on my mom's side of the house. So it's something I was used to doing as a child growing up. I was up here in Lloydale, New York, and my parents used to come up here and visit all the time in the summers. And I spent a lot of time here. I believe this is the 46th season, this past season, for me to be here as a registered medium. And I've worked with this all my life. So it's something I enjoy doing. And I find if we enjoy it, it works really well. And we're needing to relax with the idea of trust, because each of us have our own pathway in life. There's many things we're doing. I meet people all the time that will retire from a regular career and job, and they'll say, now, I want to work with my mediumship. I want to work with my ability in healing. And it's like all of a sudden, I want to do it. And we sometimes in our lifetime have not spent as much time on it as we need to, or would really have helped us. And this is where now we're learning to open up to it. Everyday life is enhanced and helped a great deal by our own ability to listen and be in tune to our mediumship, be in tune to God's presence and guidance. You know, my grandmother always taught me as a child, put your hand in Jesus' hand and Jesus will guide you. And I never questioned it. You know, there was never a thought in my mind about questioning it. My father used to say to me, all guts and no brains, because there were things I felt completely comfortable with that I would just believe and go do. And I would have no doubt, no thought about it at all. It's very comfortable for me. And this is where we build that trust with spirit. You know, God's energy comes to us in many forms, but I believe the spirit world is the guardian angels that watch over us and come to us and help us with God's gift and healing, as well as message work. You know, all of us are using our mediumship is a wonderful gift for everyone around us in the family. And if we allow ourselves to really tap into that, it's making our life easier all the way around. And I find at times we slip into the conscious mind and work so hard and so diligently in a conscious manner that we end up really exhausting ourselves in some ways. I share healing with everyone. I could be in a restaurant and I see someone that's been in pain or had problems, and I send out the thought of healing for them, and I send out the thought of spirit being aware and helpful to them. And it's something that we're needing to have, that flow of energy in the world. We have so many things going on in the world here, between nature events and government events and all the things that are happening that some people view as not so good. We're needing to send out that healing energy, and let's take part of that every day, with every part of our day, with all the different people around us, and that we can send out that thought and healing. And I feel that we're really in need of that in this world at this time. And I know as a child, I'd feel so much that I'd want to get away from crowds and not be around people at times. And I've learned to create a shield of protection. I would term it a filter. And you're filtering the energy and not allowing yourself to be drained by all the things that are going on. And we're needing to realize in ourselves how much we can be drained by people around us we love and care about and want to help and want to change them or change their circumstances for the better. But when we get too close to it, we become a part of it. Instead of being the healing energy for it, we become a part of the problem. And we really need to recognize that the ability to step back enough from it and not get the emotional self all involved, that makes a huge difference. I've worked with healing since I was a child, and I've done a lot of absent healing. I've had friends of mine say to me, well, I dreamt about you last night, and you were here, and you had your hands on my feet, or you had your hand on my head, and it's something that I know the healing energy was there. I always look at the idea of setting intent, and I think people need to understand that God respects our free will, and Spirit respects our free will, meaning if we're not going to be really focused on asking for the guidance and help, asking for the help and ability to work with things in a way that we can make it better, we're left with the idea of bumping our heads, because Spirit will respect us, and they'll respect our energy, they respect our decision, and they respect our direction. So if we don't ask for the help, and we're not opening ourselves to it, we're on our own doing it. And that's where we bang our head a lot. And we need to ask for that guidance and help, and then be amazed at the idea of what can transpire and happen that we normally on our own would not have happen or would not have the ability to do. And that's something I find just all of us, including myself, there are moments that I don't ask for the help, that I realize then, wait a minute, I'm not doing what I know is right to do. And will bring the harmony, bring the calmness, and bring the healing energy to whatever circumstance we're involved in. And we're needing to look at that and realize that how many times in life we jump out of bed, take off for the day, and we did not set intent at all. I always set intent, may I be the messenger and guidance in some form to help heal and uplift others around me. In what other form, be it the person that I'd be working with reading or healing, in whatever form. I don't put a limit on it. I don't put it in a box and say this is what I can do. I look at it as unlimited. I look at it as something that God speaks through us in many ways. How many of you have had moments where you help someone and after the fact realize how much you helped them and how big of a difference it made, that at the time you didn't think much of it, or you thought what you were doing was very, very slight or very trivial? And we need to recognize that as something that it isn't trivial, it's very meaningful. And to allow ourselves to have that trust of just following what we feel, that is going to be the most beautiful gift, not only for ourselves and our lives, but it's the idea of being a blessing to others. And it's something that, I've had it happen many times where Spirit would place me in situations or with groups of people that really needed that help. I didn't know why I was stepping into a circumstance, but yet I was in the circumstance and it ended up a wonderful energy. And this is where we need to trust what we're feeling. I just went to see a friend today. I left his office and I was leaving the office, and it's a tall building, and I was running in the elevator down, and I thought, I need to use the restroom. So I went back up to the next floor, which was not the floor I'd been on. And, I walk in, and here's a woman standing there in the hallway, and she says, "Can I help you?" Then she recognized me and she says, "Oh my God, Greg, I was to a reading. I had a reading from you 2 years ago." She said, "I want to come back." And she said, "Oh, I thought you were gone. I didn't realize you're in the Dale yet." And I said, "Yes, I'm here." And she said to me, "Well, give me some cards. I have everyone in the office that wants to come." Now, why would I get off on the floor, and here I am meeting this person right in the hallway when there's probably 80, 90 offices in that building? And it's just interesting how things line up, and I know it's not a mistake. And I've learned to trust that, and I've always put that intent out that where am I needing to be? Please place me there. I don't question my knowledge of it or my complete understanding of it. I just put forth the energy in that form, and it works so well. And we're needing to really look at that, because how many of us start the day by having this rigid level of understanding of what we have to go and do, but we're not asking for the help to guide us in it. And if we ask for the help, we're going to have things come through very clearly, and incredible help will be there. Anyone have any questions they'd like to ask, please raise your hand.
Oh, wait, Bonnie does. Bonnie has a question.
Yes, I do.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi. It's so great to see you and be able to do this with you. I think it's a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
I just wonder, do you have any messages from anybody, any spirit world, giving me good advice, good vibes?
I feel a gentleman in spirit that passed over. I feel when he died, he had problems with the throat. He had difficulty breathing. He had difficulty with lungs and heart. And when he left,
Okay.
he left pretty quickly at the end. He had been sick, but when he left quickly at the end. You can
Okay,
understand.
I can relate to that.
And would you recognize him being a very loving person, but he could come across a little gruff at times?
Yes.
Because I see him with you and supportive of you, and he's talking about your life change now, that you're really shifting things in your life. Would you understand where you've been, what you've done, what you've accomplished in the past, say, few months even? You're starting to shift that energy and realize that I can't take on all the things I used to.
Maybe.
You've been cleaning house on people around you,
Yes.
because I see people stepping out of your life more, where you're realizing who I want to invest time, energy, love, and emotion with versus who has been taking energy from me but not giving back.
Okay.
Would you recognize in yourself there's a few people around you that you don't mind if they're in need, because they're really in need, and you don't mind helping, and they give back immediately, and the opportunity they have, they give back immediately. But you had some people around you that I want to term in greed, not need. And I feel like you recently have been figuring that out.
Maybe.
Well, let's say it this way. I see a couple people around you that pull on you pretty hard, and you respond to by helping. And I want to say, sometimes you've been having this thought go through your mind, why am I helping them when they're perfectly capable of helping themselves?
Okay, good point.
And that's what I see you stepping back and realizing and regrouping on. And I felt also the home you're living in, just recently you've been finding yourself thinking, I really want to go through and rearrange and clean out and have everything really in the order I'm desiring.
And I have been thinking about that.
I see that becoming a manifestation consciously. I see you moving forward on it, and it's going to work well. And you recently had a little difficulty where your back had bothered you.
No, actually, I haven't.
Who's really close to you that would have a back problem?
Possibly my daughter.
Would you understand your daughter being a very strong person, but emotionally, she's having some very difficult times?
Yes, I would.
Because I see a great deal of stress with her emotionally, and I feel it's affecting her in a physical form. And I feel the support area is the back, and the back is a symbol of not feeling supported. And what circumstances she had been involved in has not supported her, when in reality, it normally would have been an essence of support. and it just hasn't been.
Okay.
How old is she?
She is 45.
She just recently talked about her left lower back and hip,
Yes.
because I keep feeling that part of the body really bothering her. And I feel that I'm not a doctor, can't prescribe, but I want to say if she went to a chiropractor, it would help her. I feel something's out of alignment in her body that needs to be lined up, and then she'd feel a great deal better.
Okay.
Also, do you understand a difficult time in a love relationship in her life?
Yes.
Because I feel a real painfulness emotionally, and I feel she's having a hard time with that. That's not been easy for her. And she's really having to stand her ground. You know, if we do the same thing, excuse me.
Well, thank you.
If we do the same thing over and over, we're not going to change the answer. And I feel like she's trying to overlook things, and she can't change the answer by overlooking it. She has to look at it for what it really is. And would you recognize sometimes you have to bite your tongue because she doesn't want to look at it for what it really is?
Yes.
Because I see you wanting to be helpful, but in some ways you felt that you couldn't say too much.
I think you're right.
And I see her being pretty hard-headed on the idea of seeing what she wants to see the way she wants to see it instead of seeing it the way you're able to see it. And I felt sometimes she wouldn't take kindly to you mentioning it to her.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome, dear. God bless you. Take care.
You too.
Anyone else have any question? Please raise your hand.
Oh, Elizabeth,
A different one here.
she gave her a question, but
Hello. Hello. Hi. Did you have another question?
If we're allowed, she wanted to see if you had anything for her. It's my daughter.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Hi. How are you? Well, one of the first things around you, dear, sometimes you see shadows and movement, and you sometimes get a little taken back by it because sometimes you'll see things move around you, and it not frightens you, but it makes you think about things. And would you recognize sometimes you see a shadow? Because I see a shadow around you, and I feel there's a woman in spirit that passed away a long time ago that your mama knows, and I feel this lady's with you and watches over you, and she referred to herself as a guardian angel. And remember someone saying something to you at one time? Remember who, and I'm speaking to the mother here,
Mm-hmm.
who would have been around you that said, when they didn't want you touching something?
I got a couple of them.
Because I see this lady around your daughter, and she watches over your daughter also, and I heard her say,
Okay.
And would you recognize a grandmother of yours?
Me?
Yes.
Yes.
As I see the grandmother watching over your daughter, and I feel your daughter at times, and I feel this has happened more than once. She's commented about somebody being there in the home or in the room.
I feel like there's somebody there sometimes. Yeah.
Because I see her with loved ones around her, and I feel they're connected with family, and I feel this grandmother especially would be the great-grandmother to her, but I mean, it's your grandmother. And I see her very close to you and very close to your daughter.
The one you were named after, probably.
And who's Mary?
Mary.
Who would be on
Marianne?
the side named Mary or Marianne?
Marion, my husband's grandmother.
Because I see her stepping in also, and she said to me, she says, tell her we're both here. Your side, his side, both of them are here. And I felt she was a pretty feisty lady.
Oh, yeah.
Because I see her very close to you and very close to your daughter, and they have a good time. Sometimes she sits and plays and talks to someone, and she wouldn't tell you who. Would you recognize her talking with someone?
Yeah.
Because I see spirit around her quite often, and I feel she feels things a lot. And who would have been the woman in spirit that loved lilac flowers? I smell lilac flowers.
Marion. My husband's here too, and he doesn't believe any of this, so it's
Well, I'm kind of walked in the middle of everything here.
Well,
his grandmother.
I feel Marion is there. I feel she loved lilac flowers. I see her reaching out to your little one here, and I feel, sir, she's reaching out to you. And would you recognize you've been very analytical, but I also feel you have a gut feel about people. It's like I like them or I don't. I trust them or I don't. And you're really pretty strong with that in the very beginning of meeting someone.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, like if I walked in the middle. And
Yeah. Well, would you recognize the thought of considering changing a vehicle? The idea of getting another vehicle?
Yeah.
Because I keep seeing an ignition key in front of you, and they were showing me you changing a vehicle shortly and making a decision on exactly what you wanted, because you've already thought about what you wanted. You just haven't confirmed it yet.
Kinda.
I feel it's going to work very well. Also, in a work environment, I see you accomplishing things with what you want to accomplish. Where are you working at now?
CRST.
Would you recognize you've been finding recently there's been a difficulty there with how they want to switch management around?
Not so much management.
Well, I'm going to say it this way. Let's be aware here of people getting switched around from one level to another. You'll be fine. I see security for you. But I want to say, let's not have any comment about what they're doing, because I see somebody running around in there telling stories about, well, this person said this or believes that, and I don't want to be caught up in the rhetoric.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sounds good.
I feel the grandmother energy with you. She watches over your little one, and it's really a wonderful energy. She is a pretty feisty lady.
Yeah.
I feel with her that other people didn't know what to do with her, because if you didn't want to know, don't ask her.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. God bless her. God bless you guys. Any other question?
I'm good.
All righty.
Thank you.
We have another one here that's not on the screen, but
Rand. You want to see if you want.
who?
Rand.
Rand, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, Rand. Do you have a question? We don't have the visual with you, so we thought we'd check.
Okay. Yeah, I could find a question here. I'm always been interested in channeling, especially writing channeling. And I've attempted that many times, and for personal guidance, and but I always question how authentic it is, because one has a vested interest in your own, what comes through you, and you want it to kind of say what you want it to say, right? So I always question how reliable this self-guidance is through channeling. And so I guess my question would be, do you get a sense of how authentic my channeling writing is? And if
let's put it real simple. I feel with you that you have the sincerity and the depth to do it and do it well. We have to be aware of one thing here. When you're writing and you're feeling you've gotten to that calm state, you've allowed yourself to really step into the other energy. Yes, we are influenced by our conscious will and desire. Yes, we are influenced by what we would certainly like as an outcome. But what I feel with you is that at least you're in tune to the honesty of saying, I'm questioning myself. And I look at it in this form, to keep ourselves on center and to focus on it in a way to say, I'm keeping that, let's say I'm checking myself, not on a continuous every second level, but I mean, you're double checking, where's the clarity? And what you can do with that is practice the idea of things that you could do that are not the big issues that you really think about and want to hear about or know the answer to. Practice some things that are more simple and have them then confirmed that they're happening in the manner you're getting it. There's a recognition of the energy when you're writing that you feel the clarity that it's spirit and not your conscious mind. And as you start recognizing that clarity, there is a big difference, but at first we're not always recognizing the difference. And that's where I feel by you practicing that, and I would say on a daily level, take a few minutes to sit down and set that intent. Also, don't always question it in a sense of saying, I'm posing the question and I want the answer. Ask them to guide you. And as you ask them to guide you, as you ask them to guide you, you're going to start having information coming to you that is not a posed question, but they're going to give you things that pertain to your future that is something you're not asking about. And as that starts to occur, you're going to find that guidance and the answers will amaze you, because it could be the simplest things in the world, but it's going to be the proof to say, here's the information and it's correct. And as you do that more, now I'm not saying you're not going to ask questions you like an answer to, but if we practice that in with the asking of some questions, please guide me in what I need to know for tomorrow. Please show me something that will give me the guidance and bring me the harmony in my life and others, that I may be a help to others, and set that intent in the writing. You're putting out that desire. Allow them to bring to you information then. Now, you may write something down and not have any recognition what it pertains to at that moment, and the next day it lines right up and you go, oh my God, here it is.
That would be neat to experience that.
That would build your confidence, and that would build your ability of trust, because I feel you have the ability, definitely. I just feel like you haven't had the consistency of things happening that you could really say, I trust it.
Right. In the meantime, do you have any specific guidance from my guides or higher self that you could tell me?
Well, I feel with your guides around you, you have two entities that are very strong for you. I feel one of them is an Oriental gentleman, and he shows me stacks and stacks of books. And I feel like you've always wanted to read and learn things and gain things, and you can devour books at times.
Yep.
And I feel an energy there that what he does is just like going into a library and guiding you to the book that you need to read, and then also pull the book out, open the book up, and when you open the book up, you know, my grandmother used to teach me that if you pull like a Bible or you pull some other book out and it opens to the pages that are necessary, and take time to read it, because it's going to give you the guidance you're needing. It has the answers. And that's what I feel with you, the clarity of not just focusing on reading the whole book, but what part of the book am I guided to open to, and then take time to read it, and what's the message.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be kind of neat to just open up a book and say, "Oh, there's my guidance right there in that sentence."
Exactly. And that happens a lot. I've had that happen in my life, and I've seen it many, many times in other people's lives. I know some people that do that quite often. I mean, not necessarily daily, but I mean, do it quite often. And it's just amazing how uncanny it was lining up and the answers were there. Because remember, we're setting the intent, and all we're doing is going to the written word, and we're opening up to the right written words to guide us, to help us. We've already set the thought, the prayer, the intent, and we open the book.
Okay, I'll pay attention to that more and try that technique.
And try the technique of putting out the energy with your automatic writing. Please guide me for the future and tomorrow. Guide me for the circumstances that are coming. And you may have sentences come through that you're going to look at and think, why, I can't even apply it right now. But when the circumstance occurs, it's just going to be, I mean, talk about explanational. I mean, it's going to be amazing for you. And I feel like your ability is already there. I don't question at all the ability. It's the idea of having the clarity of knowing that it's Spirit speaking through you to yourself.
Right, right. That's always the challenge. But I'll take it to heart and apply those. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. God bless you. Anyone else have a question you'd like
Courtney
to
does.
ask? Hi, Courtney.
Hang on, let me unmute her.
Hi, Courtney.
Hi. I was wondering if children were more sensitive to spirit, and if there was any way to really tell if they were.
Well, I feel that the little one you've been showing on the screen here, I feel very sensitive and very aware. And I feel, remember, sometimes children don't open up and say too much. They experience it and they share it, but they don't open up and say too much at times.
Okay.
And I feel that you've watched your child at times talk to someone that wasn't there,
Mm-hmm.
and you've also had an experience of them pointing at somebody, and you were looking at times and thinking, what are they pointing at?
Yeah.
And I feel that spirit, and there's times a child will not express that because it's not acceptable in the conscious world. People would not normally be that open. So that's
Okay.
an automatic thing they know to not display it.
Okay.
And you're very sensitive, but I feel sometimes you debate so much you could wear the paint off of things.
Yeah.
I feel you're actually very sensitive. You pick up on things very well. I feel you have a real intuitive feel about people that it's like I like them or I don't, I trust them or I don't. And it's very strong. You pick it up very well. How old is your little one?
She's almost 3.
Hi there.
Say hi. Say hi.
Hi. Well,
It's being shy.
I feel a woman in spirit with both of you. I feel when she passed away, she would have been very, very, very sick. She'd have been sick for quite a while. There was a period of time she'd be in bed, and she was very ill. And I see her very close to you. When she passed away, she said to me, everything was wrong in her body.
Yeah.
Everything was wrong in her body. She had her organs shutting down in her system. You can apply that?
Yes.
And would you recognize her, not necessarily mother, but like a mother?
She was a grandmother.
Because I see her very much a motherly energy and very nurturing, and I see her very close to you. And
Okay.
would you recognize her liking purple?
Yes.
Because I see purple all around you. When I'm seeing her energy, I'm seeing purple. And I feel her energy with you, loves you, watches over you all the time. You just recently had a tooth act up that you've been ignoring.
A what?
A tooth in your mouth acting up a little bit that you've been ignoring.
Yeah.
Because she said to me, tell her about her tooth. And she said she needs to take care of this tooth. She has a wonderful smile and wonderful teeth. And she wants you to keep every one of them. But I see her with you, and I feel the warmth and love there. And she watches over you all the time.
Oh, good.
And she's with your little one. And your little one at times will stop and stare past you and be looking past you, not at you, but past you. And it'll just almost be stunned for a moment and stare for a moment. And she said to me, I'm appearing to her.
Yeah, both of my girls do that, and sometimes it seems to scare them, actually.
Well, it startles them in the sense of saying, where did they come from? It's like,
Okay.
how did they get there?
Mhm. Okay.
And just explain to them that it's a guardian angel. They love them, they watch over them, and they're there for them.
Okay.
Nothing bad is going on around you.
Good.
And you just had a tire on a car go low?
Yeah, we've been having issues with one of the tires.
Because I kept seeing this woman in spirit saying to me, she rides in the car with you, and she said the tires are a problem, and the one tire went low.
Yeah. Yep.
Because she told me she rides in the car all the time. And she made a comment. She said, tell her to fix the windshield wipers.
Yeah, we do need new windshield wipers too, and fluid.
Because she showed me the windshield wipers, and she shows me streaks all over the windows, and she said, you need to get this fixed.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Well, she's certainly with you, loves you, watches over you. It's wonderful.
Oh, good. There was one more thing. During the last Zoom meeting, I was pregnant.
Yes.
And you said that we were going to have a very, very fast delivery.
Yeah.
And once it came time to actually push, we did. It was very quick. Very, very good.
I feel with you that was record time. Wonderful. Beautiful. That's wonderful, dear. How old is she now?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh,
Yep.
my goodness. That's great.
Yep.
Well, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
That's a wonderful energy. I feel the little girl around you there is having a wonderful time with her.
Good.
Because I feel wonderful energy, and I see a grandmother with you and watching over things there.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you, dear.
You too.
Uh-huh. Bye-bye.
I'm gonna go to Amy.
Hey, Amy.
Really? Oh, I thought it was over with.
No, he's still on. Courtney just is doing her.
Hello, Amy.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Bye.
Hello, Amy.
Yes. Hi.
You have a question?
Yeah, I did. I did before Courtney went, and I sort of forgot. I did. It's my daughter. I just love seeing the kids. Do you have any messages for me, I guess?
Well, I'm seeing a gentleman in spirit with you that passed away that I felt when he died. He said to me that he surprised everybody, including himself.
Mm-hmm.
And when he left the body, it was a quick ending. But I feel with him, you wouldn't have expected to lose him at that time.
Right.
Because I see him with you and supportive of you. Also, you recently had a leg give you some pain, and it also was swelling a bit.
Me?
Yes.
No, I think my husband, but not myself.
Well, I immediately felt pain in my leg, and I felt my knee bothering me. And would this be your husband then close to you?
Yeah. Oh, no, this is my granddaughter. My husband's.
Well, let me say it this way. I feel an energy with your husband that if he was to go get checked out and really get it looked at seriously, he could get something done and he'd feel so much better.
I'll have to say it to him.
Would you recognize he pushes things away?
Mm-hmm. All the time.
He pushes things away and doesn't want to look at it?
Yes.
Because I see him as a symbol. They were showing me him pushing things away and not wanting to look at it. And I feel if he goes in and really gets himself back in order, he's going to feel so much better.
Okay, well, that's good.
Would you recognize with yourself that just recently you've been thinking about finances and a little concern over finances, but you're realizing you can't help everybody else with the finances, that if you had them, you would, but you don't have them to do that with?
Yeah.
Because they said to me, sometimes you're needing to take care of you so you at a later time have the ability to take care of someone else, but you're needing to take care of you first.
Yeah.
All right? Because
Yes.
I feel there's a part of you that's had a very hard time with that.
Yeah.
Well, I see you getting back on track, and I see you being calmer with the whole energy change. Also, would you recognize the thought that you have considered the idea of a different residency besides the residency you're now living in?
No. Not if I can help it. No.
Well, let me say it this way. I feel the opportunity here. Now, who's around you that wants to pack the boxes and make a move? Will this be in your family closeness?
I don't know. It could be my husband wants to move back to PA. My mother wants me to live with her. It could be anybody.
Well, I'll say it this way. I didn't feel living with Mom, and I don't feel right away here in the sense of Pennsylvania, but the feeling I have is time coming up here, I could see some decisions about a move, and I felt an energy there that I know you're going to make the right choice. It's going to be the right answer for you, and not to worry about it so much. Because I'm seeing you at times where you're feeling tugged and pulled back and forth on it as to whether, which direction do I go?
Well, my health won't, I can't move. I don't want to.
I see you being where you are at this time, dear. There's no problem. But what I felt with you is getting your health more in order and actually physically feeling better. Would you recognize there was a period of time there that your body lost energy so much that it really frightened you?
Actually, right now,
Because I
that's what.
felt a feeling come over me of weakness, and I felt so exhausted. I feel like that was really taking a toll on you there for a bit.
Yeah, yep, still is.
I see you getting back on track. I see it being more positive, and I see your energy coming back to a point where you're going to function a great deal better. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you.
You too.
Thank you.
Now we're going to do Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's your question?
I guess I really don't have one.
All right. One of the first things around you, dear, I want to say strong-willed, very determined, emotionally sensitive. You take things very, very deeply. But I feel an energy with you that you're tired of people. I feel sometimes you just feel like, I want my quietness and my space. I don't want to have myself feel invaded.
True.
That makes sense?
Yes.
And you've been finding recently, it's been a bit of a challenge with some people and all the drama they get in, because I'm seeing you're really tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
And just recently, you've been thinking about it quite a bit, that it's like, I want to take a little time out to get away. And it's like a quiet, nice, relaxing getaway.
Mm-hmm.
You've been thinking about that recently?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because I see you doing that, and I see it working exceptionally well. I think you're going to really have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see this as a huge trip, but I feel that when you go, it's really wonderful for you and you need to.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who the lady is, but I'm seeing a woman on the spirit side of life with you. I feel that she's a very bright lady, loved to sit and read. She was a very knowledgeable person. And I see her very close to you. And you've been thinking about it recently, that it's like taking more time to read things has been something you've been desiring.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, I kept feeling like I want that quietness, that sort of a solitude energy, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to read and I want to enjoy. And I just feel like I just want that peacefulness.
Mm-hmm.
You got too many people around you that are living in drama, living in trauma, and they have all these energies bouncing around all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need it.
Right.
I'll say it this way. You have some folks around you. You may love them and care, but you reach a point of being disgusted with them because they're not fixing their problems, they're just making more.
That's right.
And I see you starting to step back enough where I'm not going to be as available to their chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
There is someone in spirit, and I wonder if she might be around. Is there someone named Shin around?
I feel an energy there when you said that. I feel very peace with a female. I feel not that really old of a person, but I see her very close to you. Would you understand, no matter what her age was, she was very youthful?
Not really, no. She would have been around 70.
Well, let me describe this. I feel her spirit and I feel her emotions and being this really wonderful youthful energy. And I just see her there for you. No matter what the body was, I see her there for you and supportive of you.
Okay.
And would you recognize her ability to look at things in a positive way that's beyond what some people could do?
Yes.
Because I see her with you, and she said, you have to have the positive outlook and you have to have the positive thought, because then you're manifesting positive things. And she said, and you've been thinking that way for a long time. And
Mhm.
she's reinforcing and supporting you in it.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
She's doing wonderfully, dear.
Okay.
She's doing wonderfully. Great energy.
Okay.
Would you understand she had an impact in your life that was something that you really felt a very close energy with her?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I just feel that real heartfelt closeness, but
Mhm.
she's there for you.
Okay.
God bless you then, dear. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, last one.
It is a, oops.
Hang on a moment here.
Okay, she was the last one.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining with us. I think it's wonderful, and I've enjoyed sharing with all of you, and I've enjoyed you sharing with me.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone would like to communicate in the sense of a message or reading, this number would be 716-595-3529, 716-595-3529, and the website would be www.rev, Gregory Kehn, KEHN.com. And next month in January 16th at 7 o'clock, we decided to do things right around the holiday, let the holiday pass. And that would be the 16th of January at 7 o'clock. We'll be back on here again. And hopefully you see some good faces again. God bless you all. Have a wonderful holiday. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
Greg. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
How do I shut it off?